this thing on?
Yeah, definitely. I'm the one that's struggling today, I think.
I wasn't exactly struggling the last time. I was just a little too animated as a result of probably still being drunk as opposed to hungover. Realistically, like let's be fair with myself.
That's not so bad. I'm gonna just quietly sip my water for a minute. Oh, here I got a good internet thing that I seen yesterday. They'll try on you. It's like it tests what your answer is. You know,
right?
Oh god, that water is like I was going to call it like the liquid of life, but it is.
It literally is.
It is the liquid of life, isn't it?
But what is whiskey's like water of life, or is that vodka in Russian or something?
That is the water of life. Ishkavaha.
That's
in
what
Irish. Yeah.
It is. That was right.
Yeah.
Is it not the same in Russian for vodka, or am I making that up?
It could be. I'm not sure. I don't know.
For some reason, that's in my head. Like in Russian, vodka is also water of life.
Okay. It's because I was going to say.
I might be entirely wrong about that, to be clear.
Well, vodka sounds like it could just be water, doesn't it? Like vodka.
Vodka.
Water.
Why are you saying vodka?
Is that not how they say it? They pronounce their V's with a W? No?
They probably do, actually. You're probably right, actually.
I thought that was. Maybe I'm just...
Is it Iwan the Terrible?
Yeah.
Iwan.
Yeah. It's probably like Ian.
Ian the Terrible.
Isn't it? Ian the Terrible. Oh god, water my ass. I need my coffee. So here, this internet thing anyway. So if there was 100 dicks on that wall, how many would you choke on?
None of them, surely.
Because you're a pro. Isn't that good?
That's good.
I'm glad I got you with it. I thought, knowing you, I was like, he's going to think about this. He's going to work out how many cocks he would choke on.
Well, how am I going to do a math question on that?
Well, I don't know. It's that you just go, after 5 or 6, you'll be pretty good at it.
Like the student I have, we were doing a practice paper yesterday, and there actually was a couple of questions in it there. He's like, that's quite a good question, actually. I like that question.
Oh, you got a new one for him?
And I got a new one for them. But like, one of the questions is like GCSEs is like 16-year-olds, so they're old enough to cringe, realistically.
Yeah.
But it was like, if you're having a pizza party, or let's say Susie's having a pizza party with her friends.
Is this a pedophile thing?
No, it's a literal math question, like a pizza party. And she's like, and she has to write an equation for how many pizzas to get based on how many people are coming and how many slices each person's going to eat. And I was like,
Susie's fucking cooked.
And like, and I was like, I really like maths, and I do a lot of like quiet maths in my head just for fun and stuff, but like if I went to a pizza party and they were like, how many slices are you going to eat? Because I need to write an equation. I'm not going to that pizza party anymore. I don't want to make that decision before I start eating the pizza.
I'm going to be honest, Nathan. We have friends that would be like that.
Oh, I know.
We have equation friends for sure.
I can be that person as well, but when it comes to food, you just overbuy. You always overbuy. That's it. Just like 4 people coming, that's 10 pizzas. Let's just call it 10. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I get you. That's definitely the way to go.
But because you started, if this is going to end up being part of the show with the dicks on the wall, I'll have to switch gears in the second topic, but I'll still start the same way I was going to. So because it makes more sense now.
Yeah, you talk about whatever topic that you want to talk about.
You're going to see why. But so last week, me and Niall went a little drive up the country to one of Niall's friends who I met at his wedding. One of the loveliest fellas, realistically.
Rick,
I mean, I've only met him a couple of times, so I don't know what his like full character is, but everything I know about him is awesome.
Pretty much.
I like Rick a lot.
He's pretty much always exactly how he was as you met him, kicking around, making jokes, being positive, feeding his chickens.
Yeah, I love that sort of person. That's my sort of guy. Yeah. But on the way there, we had talked about the idea of a routine because, here's what I do in the morning, here's what my week looks like, my days look like and such. And, we were really talking about like kids, work, those sorts of things. But it got me thinking about what my week really looks like as a normal week and what I do as a person. Because like we're talking about watching Monk on the way up here, I don't watch Monk every week, so that's a different thing. You know, it's like one thing that happens for a while and then I stop doing it. But there's a couple of constants in my life. But one of them, which is like nearly every day when first thing I wake up, and I actually have started to know the timings of when these things happen to like a bad degree. But on Reddit, what's your experience with Reddit? Let's start there. Do you use Reddit?
I don't have a massive amount of experience on it. I always kind of lumped it in with 4chan as like, you know, whenever they were new things, I was like, oh, Reddit and 4chan. But now I seem to always be on there. Anytime I write a question on the internet,
That's
like,
the best place
what
to
is
get an
this?
answer. Yeah.
And then it just takes me straight to some weird Reddit where there's a whole community of thousands of people talking about like.
Well, this is what it is. Is like Reddit. Like what I use Reddit for the most part is like, you know, like wrestling subreddit where there's a community of people who talk about wrestling that isn't like Twitter, which is mad.
Okay.
The like very specific TV shows that I like to watch, like the Donegal subreddit, the Derry subreddit, the Ireland subreddit. You know, just like, you know, niche things that I can find on there that, and then like puzzles and stuff that I like and things like that. But anyway, one of the
puzzles.
no, like people posting and like puzzles and trying to you have to guess what the answer is. I like
Okay,
that.
it's not like a subreddit trying to solve like serial killer cases.
There is a
or
subreddit
something.
of that I'm also part of. That's called RBI, Reddit Bureau Investigation. But what I want to talk about today is that there is quite a few subreddits, which are just, you know, parts of Reddit that are where people ask for advice or like, you know, they're telling, here's what happened, what I do about this, you know, and not in like not like you talked about where like, how do I fix this car, or, you know, like when we were looking at these mics last week, I went on Reddit to find out the answers, you know.
Okay. I actually joined a group on Facebook a couple of days ago that's the exact same as that, but you're only allowed to give terrible advice.
Well, this
You're not allowed to give.
this may as well be the case in Reddit as well, because the advice is absurd.
So people go on there and be like, oh, you know, it's I'm really falling out of love with my husband. What do I do? And people are like, go fuck his best friend. Like, you know,
Well, it's not that bad.
it's like,
So the trope on Reddit is like, you know, if when it comes to like somebody's cheating or whatever, it's like get a lawyer, hit the gym, and what's the other one? It's something else. It's like there's a three-pronged approach of like getting the gym and getting the lawyer is the two main important ones. But anyway, but so there's like just like you say, there's lots of posts that are like just straight up, you know, I think my husband's cheating, or I think my wife's cheating, or there was one this morning I was reading before you came about somebody who got their DNA back and their dad wasn't their dad.
okay.
Right, and we could do a tangent
That sounds
on that.
like a lot of fun.
It is. It is.
Actually.
But actually, the problem with it is there's too much. So you're talking like hundreds upon hundreds of posts a day. You can't sift through them all. But there's two different subreddits, but let's just talk about the one important one. There's one called Best of Redditor Updates. And what this is that let's take that first part, and anyone that gets updated that's actually interesting, they post it here. So they maybe post like 5 or 6 a day. So that's my stories every day. Like in the morning with my coffee, I sit and read my little Reddit stories.
Okay.
I
like that.
It is, and it actually is like mostly it's good, and it's good for me because like it's out of the echo chamber of the crazy over there, and really like people's comments are quite generally quite, you know, quite good. You know, they're quite people talking about it. They're not talking to the person; they're talking about it, so it's better. So it's a better conversation about it.
Just so I can get my head straight, this is the advice one. This isn't the federal or the.
No, this is the advice one. Yeah, this is the advice one.
Because I was thinking in my head, oh yeah, and then you go down the fucking rabbit hole, and and people are on Google Maps.
Well,
you know,
I'm well into that as well.
Looking at the backyards of people, and
that's me at like on a Friday night before Laurel gets home and drunk. trying to solve a murder.
That's a bit of me. I like that.
Finding missing people.
Crowdsourcing the fucking investigation.
But so I read this every morning, and like again, for the most part, is like some of them are like super long and crazy, and just on top of that, there's also like a trope of there's like a lot of this is AI written for some reason. People Like, and you have to filter those out, which is why I'm saying about not using the normal ones and going to this best of one, because you filters a lot of that out, where it's like either AI written or it's like pure fan fiction where somebody's got a weird fetish where they want to just explore that weird fetish in writing.
Yeah, I don't want to overtake your topic for the day.
Go ahead.
Conspiracy theories. I'm just going to quickly say, just as you were saying about that AI, have you heard about the dead internet theory?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's like most of what on the internet now is just made by computers.
Yeah, it's bots.
And bots are replying to other bots.
But it's true, you can see it in real time.
Yeah, but they think now that in a couple of years' time it's going to be like 95%. And I don't know where to get this from, because
it's impossible to make those figures.
Remember they used to say, is like, 95% of the internet is porn. I'd say a good chunk of it is porn.
A good chunk, but not 95%. Definitely not.
And then 95% of it can't be fucking robots talking to each other, and 95% of it be porn.
Exactly.
Unless the 95% of them are talking to each other about porn. Like, those numbers don't number. Anyway, go back to your advice, Colin.
But yeah, so like I really like to read and the thing about the Reddit updates is sometimes you'll read a good story on the thing where they're looking for advice, and then they just never ever update on it, and you're like left hanging. What happens next? You know what I mean? So I like the ones that are sort of fleshed out with like, here's what happened a couple of days later or a few weeks later, or sometimes like 10 years later they come back and do it. You know, so it's good that way. But I was thinking to myself when I was thinking about bringing this up to you, and I thought I'm going to find the most like the most and the one that got me the laugh the most, or to like be like so maybe I even checked in my chat. So with Laurel, I checked and seen like what ones have I sent her, you know, over the course of the last year, because when something's like really good, I'm like, oh, I have to send it, because Laurel doesn't do this. She doesn't read them only unless I send it to her. But this one was one of them, and I want to read out to you at least the first part, because it's just the concept of this, where like, as I say, some of these are written by AI, but I just don't think AI is capable of writing this.
Okay.
And it's based in the UK, but I just couldn't stop laughing at the concept of like, I'll read it to you and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I won't go through the whole thing, but just until you get the gist. So this is from the point of view of the wife that's writing this. So, me and my husband have been happily married for about 16 years. We both have stable careers, good family life, and are fairly fortunate despite the cost of living in the UK right now. We have 2 boys, and up until Sunday I thought we had it pretty good. Long and short is, on Sunday, just after I dropped our boys off at their friends, my husband asked me if we had the house alone, and more importantly, do I have a minute? I said yes, and he sat me down and got out the printed poster for some sort of orgy and started explaining to me the concept of a gaycation. So stop there, for now at least.
Now, I need someone to explain to me the concept of a gaycation.
Exactly. This is a completely new concept.
Is this like a straight man just wants to go and be gay for a little while, for like a week or two?
So I'll read further on this. Actually, I'll read. That's the next line is what it is. So how is it's where straight men go to somewhere with sun, sand, and booze and become gay for the duration of the trip. But that's fine, because it doesn't actually count, because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. And like, at this point of when I remember so vividly, this is a few months ago, I remember so vividly reading it and being like, no, gaycation isn't a thing. No, I've never heard, like, you would have heard it in media, you heard it somewhere, or somebody making a joke like, you and your friend going on gaycation, you know. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm struggling to even process
I love that
how that works.
It doesn't. You can't just be gay for a week and then not, like, life doesn't work.
But I'm not sure if that, like, does that fly in the face of modern, like, identity politics? Or, you know, where it's like, you're born gay or you're not born gay. Or now where it's like, you can choose to be whatever you want to be. You can be a mushroom if you want to be a mushroom. Yeah. Like, if you want to dip your toe in the water, I don't know which one is the. Are you born gay? Or can you be whatever you want? I'm not sure.
I read it as, and my idea here, because this is like somebody in his 40s too, so it's not like
So he's just secretly gay.
He's just secretly gay, and he's
Okay.
using this as like he's almost like using that you can be whatever you want to be thing as like an excuse to like explore his gayness.
Okay.
But it was looking in the book in the trip to Ibiza next year with his brother-in-law. So his sister's husband, not his wife's brother, but his sister's husband. And this is where like exactly we're getting new layers here. So and his sister's husband,
That's ballsy, like, you know.
ballsy, and then,
That is fucking
and he just
ballsy.
come straight out and say it. Like there's an element here of like, you know, the sort of person who does this you expect probably wouldn't tell their wife about it. And there's an element of like fair play to him for just straight up saying it in some ways. You know? Like there's a part of me that has that.
There's a part of me wondering, like, how many lads' holidays has he been on that have been gaycations? How many lads' holidays in general are gaycations?
That we don't know about.
Yeah.
We're not invited.
I've never been on a lad's holiday. Maybe they're all gaycations.
I don't think I've ever been on a lad's holiday.
I've never been on a, you know, oh, lads.
Lads. Plenty of like lads trips like around the country and stuff, and never a
All these
holiday.
lads
Right?
away to Amsterdam going, hey, how many cocks on that wall would you check on?
That's where that joke came
You
from.
You know, I dare you, go on. If you don't suck at cock, you're gay.
I'll go on a little bit on
man,
this.
that's-
I'll skip through a little
This
bit.
is blowing my mind.
Isn't it so good? So he was at, let's see. So she's asking him then if he's gay or not. And he's like, he's not gay, 100% attracted to women. And she's like, maybe you're bi. And he got very defensive. This is one of my favorite sentences in it, saying how I need to drop the accusations and that this is the beauty of the gaycation. It allows straight men to experience gayness without actually being gay, and how it's like going to an aquarium. I don't know where the aquarium fits in. You don't go into the aquarium, get in the water, and be a fish.
What is this guy doing at aquariums?
I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
Oh, what?
He was adamant he doesn't find men's bodies or genitalia exciting at all, but he needs to experience this apparently. That's the beauty of
With
the
his
gaycation.
brother-in-law?
With his brother-in-law.
I mean, what are the chances?
What are the chances?
What are the chances that he hasn't stuffed his brother-in-law?
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically, or being stuffed by his brother-in-law.
But the other side of this then is that, like, you know, I have 4 married sisters, so I have 4 brothers-in-law, right? And like the idea
Zero gaycations.
the idea of even going on a holiday alone with them is wild. Like, never mind going to the step of gaycation. I mean, just going on a holiday with me, like, and like, you know, people have better relationship with certain people. I get that.
Yeah.
But I have good relationships with all of them. It's just that, you know, we go on holidays with our individual families, or we all go together, and that's that. There's no in between.
Yes, but like, you're not going to invite your sister on a gaycation where you want to stuff her husband. Like,
well, I know. I'm saying.
know,
I'm saying.
you're clearly not going to invite
Well,
her.
that's fair. The gaycation part is like, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not going on
That's a
gaycation. So you're right. I'm thinking too linearly of like going from having a brother-in-law to going to gaycation.
Yeah, I'm sure if they were going on a holiday, I'm sure he would invite his sister. I'm sure he's not that bad a brother.
Okay. So that's pretty much said. Like, so.
Oh man.
Like the top comment from that post was, your husband isn't proposing a gaycation, he's proposing cheating on you with men while using magical thinking to pretend it doesn't count. The fact that he's planning this with his sister's husband makes it even more disturbing. His bizarre explanation about surrendering mind, body and soul isn't straight man curiosity, it's just someone desperately trying to justify exploring his sexuality, blah blah blah. So it's just like, you know, the same what we're talking about pretty much.
Gay, obviously.
He's just gay as well. Yeah. There's no question about it. And that's grand, just be gay.
I mean, in this day and age,
Exactly.
if you're gay, you're very celebrated. You know, they got fucking parades. You walk around, people fly flags, people fucking kiss you on the cheek. I don't know what they do, but
A slight aside from the Gaycation,
you know,
then on that one,
it's-
there's another story.
like back in the 80s, I could understand.
Oh, big
you know,
time.
being
Even,
like,
even the 90s, even the 90s,
even the
realistically,
90s, you know, being secretly gay and being afraid to come out. Yeah, okay, I get that.
These things
These
happen.
days, it's like there's more benefits than drawbacks to
Yep.
being gay. Like, why would you pretend? Well, maybe it's because he's got kids and stuff and he doesn't want to.
Well, I'll give you another example. So there was another Reddit story that is fresh in my mind. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but I remember it, where it was from the point of view of like a fella, the husband, and his wife, like, cheated on him with a woman for months and months and months. He didn't know about it.
Hang on, start this again. So the wife cheated on the husband
With another
a
woman.
Okay.
And for months and months now, he didn't know about it, and she eventually left him
For the woman.
for the woman, and they became like a thing, and she like came out properly or whatever, and like he lost all his friends because she was like, "Oh, so proud of you for coming out," not like you're a dirtbag for fucking. Like all his friends like just went on her side. So exactly what you're saying about the, you know, it's celebrated almost to a fault in some ways, you know, in that sort of scenario. I'm saying, you know, they should, like, that shouldn't, well, neither here nor there.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and it is a double standard. Even like fucking, oh, what's his name? Philip Schofield. Do you remember a couple of years ago when he came out as gay and he left his family for
Yes.
but some young boy? But
That's right, he was
but
really young.
he knew the boy since the boy was like fucking 10
or some shit, yeah, it was really weird.
And
That's,
then, you know,
that's
there's-
predatory behavior at
Yeah,
that point.
but then like there was a bit of kickback about it. But he didn't like
Smoothed
get
over.
he didn't get
Not hearing about it now.
cancelled. I'm pretty sure he's still on TV. Like,
I reckon we're the first podcast in 2025 to talk about that.
but if that had been like a 10-year-old girl, he'd be in jail.
No question, obviously.
But then, you know, it's like you kind of get away with it a little bit more or something. I don't know. Anyway, but it's good for people to be able to be their true selves as long as they're not diddling kids.
Exactly. That's a very, very clear line that we shouldn't let go of.
And cheating is cheating as well. You know, it's like if it's same sex or different sex, I think it's still the same thing.
It depends on how you've defined your relationship, so to speak, is the big part of it.
That's true.
But the follow up
we
to
live in a
that,
very modern times, don't we? You know, there's a lot of different
exactly
ways of being in relationships.
It's
But
a weird one.
that doesn't sound like a modern. That sounds like a very traditional.
It was,
relationship,
and nobody
now
knew
he
about
just
it.
wants to go fuck a guy.
This is the Gaycation you're talking about?
Yeah.
100% no question. So here's the update then. So there was an update, and there's only one update. So she kicked him out. She kicked him out. Like, and at the end of the last post, she said, like, go stay somewhere else. He threw a childish tantrum, screaming about how I don't understand the Gaycation, and insinuating I'm actually homophobic because I refuse to allow him to participate in this cultural exchange with the gay community.
Wow.
It's just like, I'll stop there for a second. I know that in the past, when I was younger, especially like in like an early 20-year-old, late teenager, I would make up, like I would try and justify things in my head so hard that I would say some crazy ass stuff. But this is even beyond what I would have done at that age.
Man,
and this guy's in his 40s. Like,
that's so cooked. You're like, you're homophobic. That's like turning around to your wife and being like, "Oh, you won't let me have sex with other women." That's your internalized misogyny.
Exactly. I guarantee you that's been said before. No question, that's been said before.
Oh man, that's a hard cope.
That's a hard cope.
That's a hard cope.
A lot of you said to ask him if it'd be acceptable if the roles were in reverse. I did say, would it be acceptable if I went and slept with other guys during that week? Like clockwork, he was very angry and offended, saying it's completely different because a gaycation means nothing, and what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. Again, he's back into that. And what she would do is just straight up cheating. Like, just like it's mad.
Wow.
He left the house. I'm trying to think what the. I'm trying to see whether there's anything else that was. Yeah, so. So and then he goes to his mother's house. And his mother rings her, being like, "Why
You will let my son go on a gaycation?"
No, she doesn't know about it, obviously, because he's like, again, this sort of person's not going to tell his ma he wants to go on a gaycation. Like.
Yeah. With his sister's husband.
So actually, she told him. Yeah, he told his ma that she was planning to cheat because of that conversation she had of what if I went and had sex with men.
Okay.
So his ma rings him up, being like, "You're a cheater," and shouting at him and all. And then she said, "Just ask your son about the gaycation." And I said, "Just ask him about the gaycation. He'll explain." Which later on, getting on the evening, I got another phone call from her in floods of tears. She was very apologetic, and I told her she doesn't need to be the one to apologise. She was so upset, she put father-in-law on the phone, who, while he sounded calm, I could sort of tell he was just on the warpath. When said he overheard the phrase, "Asked my husband," and husband initially said, "No, it's nothing," before explaining how it's a modern thing men do. And gave some spiel about what happens in the gaycation. Men cannot resist the gaycation. Men cannot resist the gaycation. That was a good phrase too. How a man must surrender to the gaycation.
Oh, man.
Well, pretty much, you can see where this is going. It's just going to end up like the sister-in-law and husband and all that, they break up. But
the sister-in-law and her husband break up as well?
Of course, like they're both going on the gaycation together and they're both planning it, It's just...
Wow.
But like, this is why I really like, there's gems like this every like few months where like, this is just so juicy and I'm just really enjoying like somebody else's life. And that, like, this is like,
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Do you remember those like fucking... what were they called, like Take a Break and stuff? Like the women's magazines.
Love
but they're
those
not
as
like not like women's magazines. They're just
they're
like
gossip. They're just,
like my husband had a second family that he murdered and all this kind of stuff. Like these proper. Like most of them are probably lies. They probably just want because you get like a couple of £100 for your story.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of people that just go right. We'll get a couple of £100 and they just
make this up.
Yeah,
Put their
send a couple of pictures of them on their holidays and say, "Oh, I was abducted by a Somali pirate." I don't know. I'm making these up.
I love how I love the idea of like somebody gets abducted on holiday by Somali pirates and the only person covering it is Take a Break. Do you know what I mean? Real journalism.
Yeah. But I don't know if they make those anymore. I feel like they make Netflix documentaries about it now instead of Take a Break. They try and take it a bit more seriously. But back in the day, it was just, you get like 5 or 6 of these and like a little thin, like really shit quality paper.
Yep.
Like really tatty magazine.
Straight in the doctor's office.
Man. They were great.
They were.
Growing up, you just read your mum's home when you're sitting on the toilet. This is fucking quality. And they had the agony aunt thing in the back. It's basically
what it is now.
Thing.
Exactly. It's
exactly
the same idea.
That, isn't it?
I've done some introspection because I've been at this for years at this point.
Okay.
I've been reading Best of Writer updates for I want to say the guts of like 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't stop, and like almost every day, it's like it's a habit at this point. And like again,
I might take this up. Does Reddit have an app, or is it just you go on?
There's a Reddit app.
Okay, because I just see
free.
It on
I don't pay for it.
The internet.
Yeah, use the app because it looks crap on the internet in my opinion. But I'll help you get it set up.
Yeah, I thought it was just like an internet forum.
It looks like it on that, but on the app, it's like so much more easy to read through and do things on. But what I thought about it.
This podcast is not sponsored by Reddit.
It is not, no. And like Reddit's awful for a number of reasons as well. There's a lot of crap on there, and like just like I said about like the Best of Reddit updates is one thing. The rest of them are like
trash.
It's like where they get their content from. The people commenting there are wild. It's just like straight projection. They see a post that like even close to resembles their life, and they go, "You're a terrible person," even though this person's like pure reasonable. You know?
That's the internet, though, isn't it?
It is, but then like,
Yeah.
it's really about if the first person to come in here says you're terrible, everybody else is going to get in that bandwagon because it's just like a hive mind situation. You just have to be the first person to comment to set the tone. So it's really bad in a lot of ways like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I really want to hear more about like local. Like I crave local gossip. Like I don't even know anybody. Like,
Maybe we should start a local gossip column, like the Reddit one. We'll just give bad advice to local people and post it up online, or make one of those like. Do you reckon how hard? It couldn't be that hard to make a wee shitty magazine. Like get a load of them pressed.
It's more about will you be able to recoup your costs of the paper and the printing. That's it. That's your problem. You can buy a big old printer and do it yourself, or you can pay the people who do.
I'd say you get one of those printers for half nothing these days. There must be loads of like companies that have gone out of business now with the internet, and they've just gone digital only.
Because the way it would work theoretically is that it's really an A3
and
pages, and then it's stapled in the middle.
I don't think they're full A4 size. No, they're some kind of weird size.
Yeah, right. I think actually. You know, like the standard paper in America,
magazine size.
The standard paper size in America is not A4.
What?
Exactly. It's a whole different thing. It's like skinnier and longer. That's the standard.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, it blew my mind as well.
So hang on.
That's where when you're going to print something, it says you want letter size or A4.
Yeah.
Letter's American. And it's skinnier and longer.
I was going to say, so is there like worldwide different printers for different countries?
I think it's just America has a different one. I don't know who else uses that, but I only have experience with American.
Yeah, because this is potentially going to be a very stupid thing to say, but I thought letter size was like letter sized.
For
you know, like you get a fucking letter.
But letters you get are A4 size.
Are they?
Yeah,
no, they're not.
Yeah, if you get a letter from anywhere,
just fold it up 3 ways. Yeah, it is. You're right. Oh God. Okay, I can cut that out.
Don't even. It's good. Well, that blew my mind.
Oh, man.
I
didn't know that.
It's little differences like that get me. It's not big differences. It's all the little tiny nuances of things that would always get me when I'm in a different country.
Yeah, it's incredibly annoying in work because a lot of stuff, like we would work with American productions and the special effects industry is quite small. So, you know, if you're on Facebook, there's maybe like a couple of thousand people in the world that do special effects.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are in America. But a lot of the kit that you get, it has like different threads and stuff. So instead of being over here, we would run on like BSP, and over there they run on MPT, which is a completely different thread. Like,
well, I could go into a whole diatribe about plugs in the world.
Yeah.
Because I hate different plugs. Obviously, everybody knows that the plug that we use in Ireland and the UK is the superior plug in terms of safety. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
It's got the 3 prongs. It's got the earth. Like, it's just a lot safer.
Yeah, and the earth is longer than the other two, so you're always earthed before you go live.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a pretty strong design, I would say.
But I can understand, other countries, having their own version of things. But it's grand because America has one set of plugs that's what America has, and that's grand. And you think, like, happy days. And then you have the European plug, which is slightly different. And that's all grand because I have all these plug adapters in the house.
Yeah.
It's no problem. And I went to Italy for Eurovision a couple of years ago. I had all my plug adapters already. Well, specifically my European one. Doesn't fit. Italy have their own plugs.
No.
Yep. Different from Europe.
I've been to Italy.
Italy have their own plugs. Like, I'm not lying to you.
How did I not know this? I've been in Italy.
I think that there is you can force in a European one that still works, but they have their own plugs generally speaking.
Oh,
okay. It's like a 3 like this, if I remember correctly. Like a European Italy.
Oh yeah, okay. I see what you mean. So basically, I was just running things without an earth.
Exactly.
Presumably, yeah.
Which is probably grand, realistically. In the grand scheme of things.
So long as nothing goes wrong, yeah.
I hated it. For some reason, it's like nothing against Italy. Have your own plug, it's grand. It's just an inconvenience on my part of like having to have a different plug everywhere I go. I just don't like that.
I have mixed feelings on it because, you know, I don't like global authorities telling us what we got to do on an individual level, but also on a national level. So if a nation wants to fucking drive on a different side of the road or have different rules or have different plugs, I'm like, yeah, you know, do your thing, that's your prerogative. But also the convenience of like the fact that everything is now a USB-C plug. You know, and it's like
that is quite
everything
quite
has
like
the
that.
same charger.
I like that.
Everything works with everything. I think that level of convenience, I like it, but I don't like people being forced they have to use it. But I'm also old enough to remember when every single phone had its own charger.
God, I remember
and we
that.
had a big fucking
box of just different random chargers.
Yeah, you know.
And like you couldn't just go to somebody's house and say, "Let me plug my phone in." You had to like bring your charger because nobody's going to have the same charger. Because everybody had different. There was again, and actually, you know, I'm going to take it back. I actually miss those days in a big way because right now, if you lined up my phone and your phone, and Emma has an Android. Am I right in saying that?
No, she's got an iPhone, but the iPhones now use USB-C.
Oh no, I'm saying if you line them up, like our phones are almost indistinguishable realistically. They're just black rectangles is the end of the day. And iPhones are all iPhones. Like I miss when I got my first phone, I was like 12 or something, right? And I remember it being like this tiny little thing with a like baby blue like cover on it or whatever. And all it did was text and call. It didn't, like, and I had like 3 friends. Snake? No, this one didn't have Snake yet. No. I hadn't done that. It was before Snake. This is pre-Snake.
Oh, my first.
This is pre-WAP.
Oh yeah, for sure. My first phone was way before WAP. It was one of those Motorola ones that still had the antenna that sticks out, so it kind of looked like an old radio. You know, and it was this big chunky boy like that size, and then I went from that to the Nokia 3410.
The 3410 was a good one.
We're in the future, baby. We're in the future. Like, you know? And then I was looking at people with their 3310s like they were fucking peasants. And then my friend got a 3510, and the 3510 had the color screen on it. And I was like, that bastard.
He's outdone
and
me.
it had the nice orange bits at the side.
Yes, I remember those.
You remember the nice orange bits at the side?
But I like that everybody's phone looked mad different pretty much. Everybody had like the most, it's like somebody's phone would be this size and somebody's phone would be this size, and there was like everything in between. It was awesome. Yeah. I like those days. I miss that.
It's going to sound so ridiculous as well, but whenever the WAP, for anybody that doesn't know, WAP was the like original.
We're not talking about Nicki Minaj.
No. So I don't know, was that the original internet or was WSPS the original internet for a phone? Because there was WAP and there was WSPS.
I can't remember which came before which, to be honest.
I can't remember which came first. But anyway, it was a rudimentary internet where you could go on your phone and it would maybe take 4 or 5 minutes to load up one web page.
But it was all
like... You would see line by line, it would come up and you would see...
But if anybody listening to this doesn't know what we're talking about, this is not like loading a picture. This was loading like...
lines of text.
No, but when a picture was like ASCII, what do you call that? ASCII art, where it's like you draw it with apostrophes and stuff. It was like they would recreate the pictures in like little dots. It wouldn't be like an actual picture. There's no like color involved here. It was like, and there was not even black and white involved. It was,
no, in the 3510 you could start to see real pictures.
Well,
yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then like little flip phones. I had like a great little Samsung flip phone back in the day. I used to love. I've thought, and I've never acted on it. I really want to get a little flip phone and like a bog standard pay and go, you know, that I top up £10 a year and keep it.
I've considered this because they've remade the 3310, like a modern 3310. So it's basically just a real pared down, not smartphone that you can buy now, and just have it like an old brick phone. Mm-hmm. And I kind of toyed with the idea, but people will just think that you're a drug dealer, you know?
Well, my thought was that...
Who has these apart from drug dealers?
I didn't want it as my everyday phone. Mm-hmm. I was thinking I wanted it as... If I have a phone like that, battery will last for like 4-5 days, like at least,
Probably longer.
probably longer, and then I can go and turn off entirely this phone.
Yeah, I
People can contact me, but I can't like get sucked into Reddit stories.
Yeah, that's a good plan. But do you remember how long batteries used to last? Like a week.
2 weeks, I reckon,
Yeah.
like 3 weeks, even sometimes, like
Yeah.
with those old phones, like
For sure.
they were just because it wasn't doing a whole lot. Now there's so much going on that phone, and like right now when I'm not doing anything, there's just so much going on. It's looking for every single app, what's going on to push a notification. You know, it's
Yeah.
wild. Don't like that. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, you do get like dumb phones.
I've seen them a lot. I've done a lot of research into
that's
dumb phones.
I don't
but
think that's the name of them. They got some type of name like that, but not smartphones anyway.
Are you not? What was it they're called? You're right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It
What
doesn't
they're called.
matter. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
at all. I've looked at that. Like, every time one comes out, I look at it and be like, is this what I'm going to get? Then like, no, I'll just get an old one that'll cost me like $10 to buy. I'm not getting a new version of something that I can get for $10 on eBay. What's the
Well,
point?
the good news is if you get one of the new ones, it probably has a USB-C on it.
No, it's
So
true, yeah,
you
it's
can
true.
charge it everywhere. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's back to the Reddit stories. I'm trying to think of other like really good ones that
I
happen.
think you've sold me on Reddit. I think I'm going to get the app,
Get the app and just get, like.
and then I can sit and watch my stories
What
in the morning.
So the way the app works, and for you and for anybody else, is that if you subscribe to subreddits, you've got your own homepage, and then there's a popular page, which is the default Reddit page. You don't want to be on the default Reddit page at any time.
No.
You especially. I don't ever. I'm saying I never
Okay.
go there. You wouldn't like it.
No.
The general Reddit hive mind is not us.
Okay.
So
I feel like you got to kind of explain who the general Reddit.
it's much
hive mind
younger
is.
than us. It's
Okay. All right, I get you.
it's much less
It's all skibbity toilet.
no,
Chad,
no,
guys, is
not.
it?
You're gone the wrong direction.
No?
It's more like
political activism.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
That's they have.
All right.
They have
I get you.
very clear. Is a very clear line of views.
I'm quite surprised at that. I thought Reddit would have been
No,
the other
4chan
direction.
is 4chan.
4chan is
That's
the
what
other.
4chan's
Oh,
about.
okay, right.
Well, I don't even know 4chan is anymore. I haven't been on 4chan like since like 2008. Because I just never could understand how to navigate it, so I just stopped using it.
I always bundle the two of them together, like Reddit and 4chan. I'm like, okay, that's like.
I don't remember what
I don't
got me into Reddit in the first place.
guys, but
Oh, 100%, yeah. And another big part of the Reddit stories actually, and the ones where they get the content from, like the Am I the Asshole subreddit or the
I've seen those.
relationship advice subreddit. Like you can tell like Cheeto fingers is going on there, you know,
Yeah.
where people responding like, I would love you forever. You know,
Yes.
your husband doesn't appreciate you enough. You're like, man, chill out. Like, you know, she's not here to get a head on.
I feel kind of bad as well. Like I don't want to rip on like incels, you know. I don't want to take the easy
Go
punch
ahead.
down. No, I do feel bad for those guys because I think a lot of the time it is like they got some kind of neurodivergence or something going on, or they got.
I don't even know
they
if
got
that's the
some
case.
kind of issue. I think a lot of the times, but God, they've just ruined fedoras. Like
Man,
I would love to wear
again,
fedoras, but I can't wear a fedora.
I wore fedoras before this all became a thing. I was like 16-year-old wearing a fedora around town, and everybody was like, "Look at that weirdo," but not look at that incel. And that's like I was okay with weirdo.
Yeah.
I can't wear fedoras anymore. I still think that I could probably get away with it.
I think you would. What do you call those guys? They're walking down the road playing. What's that song? Is they call like the deep south or the southern gothic or something like that?
You
know who I'm
the
talking
Dead
about.
South, the Dead South,
The Dead South. Yeah. So I think
I didn't know you knew that song.
Yeah. That's a jam.
It's great. I love the
great
Dead South,
song.
and the kids like them as well, which is even funnier.
But that's. I think you would give those vibes.
Yeah.
If you had a fedora, I don't think.
Laurel's explanation of why I get away with a lot of things is I always look like I'm from out of town, no matter where I am. In Derry, I look like I'm out of town, and like America, I look like I'm from out of town.
Yeah.
I never look like I'm from there.
I get
So I get away with
that.
it.
I get that. So I've been talking with me and Emma got big on the Yellowstone.
I still haven't watched it, but I really want to.
Man,
I really
it's
want
so
to.
good. I haven't watched the final season of it, but it's just a phenomenal show. And the spin-off as well. They got we watched one of the spin-offs, 1883. Unbelievable. Just such good writing
Amazing.
and storytelling and characters. But after that, I was like, fuck, I would love to have a cowboy hat.
You
I
can do
know-
cowboy hat. You can do cowboy
I
hat.
don't know.
You can do
know
cowboy
if I
hat.
would just look like a dickhead because I'm not a cowboy. Like I can't.
I have like 3
I can't
cowboy
ride a
hats.
horse. You know? I've got a cheap cowboy hat, but I don't know if I want to spend the money to get a real good cowboy hat.
I tell you what, I'll show you it next time you're in mine properly because I have to dig it out. But Laurel's mum's partner gave me a hat that a cowboy hat that he made for a different show because he makes a lot of stuff like that.
Okay.
For a show or for a play or something. And it's got a real like raccoon tail. And
really?
it's like a proper old style cowboy hat, not like what you think of as a cowboy hat,
Okay.
like the smiley emoji with the cowboy hat. It's not that. It's like almost like a brim.
That's how you describe a cowboy hat, like the
Well,
smiley emoji.
I use that one a
It
lot.
has-
I like that
of
one.
all the things that have cowboy hats, like cowboys.
but,
like-
but the cowboys have these hats, so I have to differentiate with one that only has that hat. That's
Okay.
why I use that. You can't put on the other one.
Yeah,
Um,
like a Stetson.
but it's
like
proper.
10
Yeah,
gallon.
it's proper cool. Like I love
Yeah.
it. I never wear it, obviously, but
I like the idea of the boleros. The ones got the flat brim, like wide flat brim.
I like
And
those
then I don't really like the rounded crowns on them, but I don't really like the indented crowns. I like the flat. But anyway,
maybe
I don't
when
know
we
enough about them. But
maybe when we take our gaycation, we should go to the west of America. Go to
the
that
thing.
dude ranch.
That's the thing. If I wore a bolero, people would go, right, that guy wants a gaycation. I can't even wear earrings. You remember I used to have an earring? Like
I forgot you had an earring.
Yeah, And then there's too many boys tried to kiss me, I was
Really?
like, I'm giving off the wrong vibes because I wore like the leather jacket and it's fine when I've got the long hair, I look like a rocker, but when I cut my hair up short, I give off like
YMCA vibes. You're talking
what do you call your
Blue Oyster
Careless
Club?
Whisper? Who's that guy?
George Michael.
George Michael, yeah, I give
Careless
off George
Whisper.
Michael vibes.
What a great song, Careless Whisper is. I'll die on that hill. Careless Whisper is an incredible song.
Yeah. So it kind of like the earring went from being sort of pirate whenever I got the long hair to just being gaycation, like full gaycation.
Too many boys tried to kiss me.
Yeah.
And
It's just happening all the time.
even if you were gay, like
It's very forward.
it's very forward. Like
yeah, for
maybe
sure.
I don't understand the gay culture
And
enough,
it's a great compliment. Don't get me wrong. I was complimented by it. I was like, it's nice, but I don't want guys just continuously trying to kiss me every time I go out.
I don't think if you're trying to kiss random women, they would take it as a compliment.
No, I think it's. I think there's a different standard for men. I think people don't mind coming up and trying to plant lips on a man. But yeah. Anyway, so that's why I took my earring out.
Oh.
I think that's probably enough for one episode.
I just as an aside, when we were we were in France last year, and I was getting stuff to go to France because it was a sun holiday. We were just taking a few days away. It was me and Laurel, and I got this like pure hole, like a tank top vest situation that was just holes.
Oh yeah,
One of those guys.
Not a vest top. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know what they're called at all, but it was just like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was more body than clothes,
Yeah.
And like I wore that one day, and I was like, God, I just feel like an idiot with my belly and everything. I was like, why did I buy this? It was like £2 or something. It wasn't like I went out and spent a load of money on it. It was just like
it's a brave choice.
it was a brave choice. It was not brave after the fact. I regretted that decision.
Your nipples poking out through the holes.
Well, I don't mind that part of it. Like it was warm enough. Like, but I'm not ashamed of my body. I don't care. Like I'd walk around topless anywhere, in the beach and stuff anyway, obviously. But for some reason, being topless felt more comfortable than wearing this. Is what I'm trying to say. It was like
it's kind of like rave
vibes
adjacent, isn't it?
I'm not a rave person. I never have been.
I like a rave.
I've enjoyed the
Yeah.
couple of raves that I've gone to, but I just like I haven't been like called to go back, and now I'm too old to handle it. I
Oh
really
yeah,
feel like
I
it.
feel like I've passed that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do like going to an old dance night every now and then, but I don't have enough friends that like dance music. You
No,
know,
I would go with you to dance
yeah,
night.
but and then Emma, she really doesn't like dance music at all. So, but then she likes R&B and dancehall music and stuff, and I'm not into that. You
No,
know,
I'm into that
the
too.
common ground is we like rock music, but then and pop. Some pop
Yeah.
stuff as well, and country actually. There's a lot of
Country's so
music that we
good. I
like.
love country.
Yeah. And Japanese, like inspired anime music. We like a lot of music,
You
but
like
she
a lot
doesn't
of
like
things.
dance music.
Yeah.
Is basically, she doesn't like dance music, and I don't like that dancehall shit. But
No.
you know what I mean when I say dancehall, like
Yeah, I
that sort
do.
of it's like R&B, but a little bit more like Caribbean or something.
I like that though. I like, and
No, I'm not.
I'll
I'm not
always
into it.
find something I like in everything. Like with music,
Yeah.
especially. It's like there's gonna be at least one song where I'm like, that's a pure banger. I love this. And now I'm into that one person, and then it becomes like, I like this album. Now I like this artist, and then who else is there? And I always do this like weird
Get down the rabbit hole.
rabbit hole
Probably.
situation with music.
But anyway, we'll leave it at that. We'll go on to our
Call
next
it
topic
quits.
for next week.
We're away on our gaycation. We'll see you next week.
I know. Oh, it's so brass neck.
It's so brass neck.